Hello everybody, I'm Suci Wheli Melvia from State University of Medan. I want to say you about the independence of Indonesia. Let's check it out! Okay, this is history about the independence of Indonesia. Indonesian independence is one of the histories of the Indonesian nation. This history has a very big meaning because it sacrificed many heroes to fight for independence. The number of heroes who have become victims should be our motivation to increase a sense of nationalism towards Indonesia. However, in the current era, many have forgotten the struggle of the heroes who sacrificed themselves for the independence of the Indonesian nation. History can briefly be seen from 1945 to 1955. Indonesian independence, of course, was preceded by many tribulations that the Indonesian nation had to endure. One of the sufferings the Indonesian people experienced when they were colonized by the Portuguese. It was the Portuguese who started the colonization in the Indonesian nation. From the success of the Portuguese nation, it encouraged other European nations to colonize the Indonesian nation. After struggling to escape from the two colonial countries, then the Indonesian people were faced with the presence of the Dutch and the Japanese. As in previous countries, the Netherlands and Japan came to Indonesia to colonize the Indonesian nation. The history of the Indonesian people has certainly been met with hard and struggling efforts. Several events that led to important events in fighting for Indonesian independence. These key events include 1. Surrender of Japan to the Allies. The surrender of Japan to the Allies took place on August 14, 1945. This surrender was carried out after the iconic bombing of two industrial cities in Japan, namely Hiroshima and Nagasaki, by the United States. In addition to the bombing incident on August 9, 1945, the Soviet Union made a sudden invasion of Japan in Manchuria in violation of the neutrality agreement of Japan and the Soviets. Emperor Hirohito was involved in the bombing of the two cities. It then instructed the Military Advisory Council to execute the conditions put forward by the Allies in the Potsdam Declaration. After the discussion for some time and the violent complaining, Hirohito made an announcement by radio in front of the whole people on August 15, 1945. In his speech, Hirohito confirmed the agreement to hand over power as well as Japan's surrender to the Allies. Apart from that, from the bombing incidents in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, information about the independence of the Indonesian nation was circulated, which would be handed over by the Japanese government as soon as possible. 2. The Rengas Dengklok exile incident. The news about Japan admitting its defeat to Allies resulted in several young groups such as Khairul Saleh, Sultan Syahrir, Wikanan, and Darwis, urging the older groups to accelerate the proclamation of Indonesian independence. However, older figures such as Soekarno and Hatta have not agreed to this request. They argued that the sudden proclamation of Indonesian independence had an impact on the bloodshed between the Japanese governments, which were not completely approved by Indonesia. This rejection of the old group triggered the Rengas Dengklok incident, discussed a debate between the by holding a meeting to formulate a draft proclamation at the house of Admiral Maida on August 16, 1945. The meeting was attended by a group of young people who really wanted independence of the Indonesian nation. With the position of head of the Japanese Navy Liaison Office, Admiral Maida's residence was considered to be the right location in compiling the text of the Indonesian Proclamation. This is because Laksamana Maida is a good friend of Ahmad Subarjo, who is a member of the old group who formulated the text of the Indonesian Proclamation. Berlangan deadlock President Mary Soekarno and Muhammad Hatta was moved to declare independence as soon as possible. Next, legalization of the text of the proclamation. After the preparation of the text of the proclamation held by Soekarno, Hatta, Subarjo, and Ahmad, the text of the Proclamation of Indonesian Independence was created, which was directly written by Soekarno. After obtaining approval from meeting participants and several revisions, Soekarno then endorsed the text of the proclamation in front of all parties. Next, declaration of the text of the proclamation. Soekarno's declaration of the proclamation of Indonesian independence was read by Engineer Soekarno on August 17, 1945. The declaration of the proclamation ceremony proved the true independence of Indonesia. A series of activities have been prepared to welcome the independence of the Indonesian state. Some of them were flag raising and the mayor speech, which was then held by Mr. Muardi and Suwiryo. This that it's the most important day in fighting for the independence of the Indonesian nation. With the spread of the news of Indonesian independence both at home and abroad, it strengthened Indonesia in freeing itself from colonial rule. Some of the events above are a brief description of the independence of the Indonesian nation, which can become material for the knowledge of the Indonesian people. This is my history about the independence of Indonesia. Thank you so much. Happy watching!